Hi Curvists! I really need to update you all on what's going on. There was no episode last week. Well, there was a reason for that, named Hurricane Matthew. So I wanted to share with you all what's going on and what is coming up, including a new direction I'm taking the podcast in. So I'm excited to get into it. I'm working to reschedule with Jared Easley, founder of the Podcast Movement annual conferences and something called the Podcast Cruise, which I have no idea what it is, but it sounds amazing and I can't wait to talk to him. I know a lot of you were particularly excited for that episode. We were supposed to record just before his podcast meetup of the Podcast of Florida group a couple of Saturdays ago on the 8th, but the venue had to cancel the event due to the hurricane. So that, of course, meant my podcast with him that was supposed to happen right beforehand had to now be canceled and rescheduled. So we're working that out. Next up, local small business and digital marketing powerhouse Kate Bowman was also scheduled to be on. She's a content creator and web show host who is on her way to taking over South Florida. She helps businesses share their stories as part of their marketing efforts, is super smart, and a lot of fun. We were having to reschedule again because of things just being thrown off course, altogether. But both of those episodes are still coming up, I promise. So because of recent events, I wanted to share with you a lesson I have learned about keeping my priorities in check. I am a big-time planner. Between my marketing company and clients and growing all of that, this podcast, my podcast network at FlintstoneMediaPodcastNetwork.com, and sister shows, and the Palm Beach Podcaster, my to-do list is simply gargantuan. So I have to be a big-time planner and schedule as much as possible weeks in advance. For the most part, this is a one-woman show. So if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. I'm currently considering ways of reducing that workload, but that's honestly just for a whole nother conversation. And I'm most importantly, as many of you know, also a single mom to a beautiful, beautiful 4.5-year-old little boy, Jordan. My angel and just whole heart. He's my little man. I'm so proud of him. But so as you can imagine, he comes first, right? Everything else comes second. Friends and family get peppered in throughout as much as I can, and then my needs usually come last. My plate is simply crazy full. I've already had to put on pause pretty much all of my duties as a social media person behind the KVJ show's fan accounts, KVJ Nation, because something had to give. That should tell you right there the fullness of my plate right now, if I've temporarily set aside something that I love that much. So my cup already runneth over, and my body was suffering the consequences. Lack of sleep and healthier eating coupled with more stressors than I could speak of. All good things, guys, but come on, let's get real. It's still stressful, right? September pretty much turned into the month of the migraine, with my having more days with these debilitating headaches than not. So, in fact, at one point I was even in the fetal position for like a day and a half. It was just awful. And with everything suddenly being thrown off by the massive Hurricane Matthew having this very area right in its crosshairs, my schedule was thrown out the window. I had to scramble to get hurricane ready because I had to make sure Jordan was all set. I had to get some clients, all set up for the hurricane too, because yes, hurricanes impact marketing efforts as well. Surprise, surprise. So everything was suddenly just completely nuts and unpredictable. And after getting myself, my son, and my clients hurricane ready, I still had so much more on my plate. Even more than usual because of the total disruption that is a major hurricane. I had a choice to make, a fork in the road, so to speak. Have a complete, apocalyptic, panic-induced meltdown, or just accept it for the opportunity it was, the chance to relax. Sometimes in the hustle and bustle of the hustle itself, right, we get so caught up in the momentum, especially when great things are happening, and we can lose sight of the bigger picture. We pursue our dreams ultimately in the pursuit of happiness, right? Well, if my body is screaming at me that it needs rest and that message is being delivered in the form of relentless migraines, Mama's not happy. I looked around my room one day as the hurricane was just about to be upon us, with plywood covering the windows, and realized it was like a cave, a perfect little recuperative rest opportunity, because it was just this little nest free of light. It was perfect. So once it was clear that we had been spared by Matthew, thank God, I had Jordan spend a couple of days with his dad. So I could spend a couple of days under covers with an ice pack on my neck to knock out my migraine once and for all. Simply speaking, I succumbed. And it was definitely the right decision. Not only did I re-energize, but it gave me a chance to step back and see the forest, not just the trees I was usually caught up in. I thought through how to move forward while making my rest, more of a priority, So I've taken some time to concentrate now on just finishing getting the Eggheads After Hours up and running. It's a new podcast project, and I've been working just get it off the ground. It's something some friends of mine and I have just recently launched a couple of weeks ago, where we talk about putting tech into our community and the community into our tech. Yay, taglines. But getting it rolling has been a massive responsibility on top of everything else I had on my plate, right? And being able to focus on finishing that rollout now, while taking advantage of this somewhat unforced gap in Curve the Cube, has taken a load of the pressure off. So if you like tech, just got a plug, if you like tech talk, please head to eggheadsahp.com and subscribe to us on iTunes. Just a little hint. In fact, the aforementioned Kate Bowman is one of my Egghead co-hosts, so that podcast can give you an intro into my upcoming Curve the Cube episode with her, so that's great. I have also made a decision with Curve the Cube that I really hope you all will find interesting and appealing. I've decided to spend more episodes doing exactly what I'm doing now, sharing my own Curve the Cube journey. Wonderful things, bad things, bumps along the road, warts and all, right? I mean, since this podcast started as being all about inspiring people to pursue their dreams by talking to other people who are doing just that, and has, over the course also sprouted this shunt of a parallel story into a parallel story of me curving my own cube, I decided to start doing just what I'm doing here, really, and sharing more of my own journey to curving my own cube. In episode 93, my amazing compadres, Scotty Fusion and Jessica Prestige, helped by co-hosting and asking me a bunch of questions from themselves and some listeners. And I think I caught a bug for it in that episode, and really just, to think about it more, I really just want more personal interaction and conversation with you guys, my fellow Curvists, about what it is to pursue your dreams, stuff my guests have taught me about that pursuit, and also what I've been learning here as I, navigate my own. In fact, on episode 4 of Eggheads After Hours, we just recorded it yesterday. It comes out October 25th. I talk a little bit about a recent decision I made on whether or not to archive my early episodes of Curve the Cube, and why or why not. So that was an interesting thought process I shared there. So this slightly evolved structure of Curve the Cube will help me stress less about my guest scheduling, and then concentrate more on bringing better quality and overall content and audio right here on Curve the Cube. So by adding in interviews with, myself, it should, in a way, is what these are, right? It should help me be able to slow down and give better focus on the post-production part of the puzzle. But have no fear. I am continuing to bring you great traditional Curve the Cube content. And once episodes start back up in the next week or two, I'll be back posting episodes every week. In addition to the rescheduled guests, I also have other super inspiring people lined up to motivate you to find your passion and do your thing too. So if you're not a subscriber yet, please, in iTunes or wherever, whichever app you found this, please subscribe. For example, Jennifer McGrath, she is the director of Hearing the Ovarian Cancer Whisper, a local nonprofit that raises money to help those fighting ovarian cancer who are, I kind of sounded with an English accent, I didn't mean to, fighting ovarian cancer, who are experiencing financial difficulty. And she has a unique story of her own for why she is passionate about helping others with ovarian cancer. So that conversation is undoubtedly going to be very powerful. Also on the list is Tammy Stronach, and I really believe I'm pronouncing that properly. But if you're anywhere near as big a fan as I am of my favorite movie of all time, The Neverending Story, then you will love hearing me chat with Tammy. I mean, it's really not every day you get to talk to a childlike empress. Am I right? Also on the list, and I can't say her name, but I'm waiting on confirmation back from a very, let's just say, special kind of matchmaker. Like I said, I can't say her name yet because she's waiting on approval back from her manager to do the show, but she thinks it's likely, so keep your fingers crossed. Wow, I just realized that's a list full of ladies. Go girl power. I'm also in very early talks to get a sit down with aerial reporter Johan Hoffend from WPTV's Chopper 5. I mean, imagine flying around all over South Florida, reporting, from a helicopter. It's pretty cool. And Jerry Soma, who puts on the Feast of Little Italy every year. No small task, but also amongst a bunch of other stuff that he does. So, like I said, loads of great stuff coming, guys. So no worries, friends. In the meantime, shuffle back through the old episodes. I know some of you have missed some great guests. All of the other eggheads, Eddie Garcia, Aaron Warmis, and Joe Russo, have all been featured previously on Curve the Cube. I've had conversations with former pro wrestler Glenn Ruth, aka Thrasher of the Headbangers, actors from The Blacklist and Bloodline. Let's see, the president of Nerdist Industries, I always drop him because I'm such a huge fan of Nerdist, Adam Reimer, host of the KVJ show, Representative Lois Frankel. I mean, just some really, really fascinating people. And I've had lots of other greatly inspirational Curvists on too, from musicians to artists, entrepreneurs to writers, and so much more in between. And I've had really meaningful conversations with people like my friend Drew, who shared his very personal story of gender reassignment, and my friend Sharif, who shared insights into his Islamic faith and helped break down some barriers and misunderstandings. I thought it was really great. And of course, I can't forget my pod squad with regular co-hosts, my boys. Love these guys, Jay Centron and Scotty Fusion. We talk about all sorts of funny stuff. So you can find those episodes organized for you right there on CTC, stands for the Cube, ctcpodsquad.com. So all in all, there's a great big backlog of nearly 100 episodes for you to listen back to as I get some great new content and these fantastic new guests all lined up. Remember to keep pursuing your own dreams. Don't give up or get discouraged. Dig in, work hard, but don't miss the forest for the trees. Find your passion, do your thing. Enjoy.